Okay, now today the topic is the prostration. Among the 7-limb prayer, 7-limb practice, the first practice called prostration. 7-limb practice is very popular in Buddhism. Any ritual, any practice we're doing, we're always doing 7-limb prayer or 7-limb practice. This is very popular and very important practice, and any practice when we do first before meditation or before anything we're doing first, we're doing 7-limb prayer or 7-limb practice, and then after we're doing actual practice. So 7-limb practice is sort of like a preliminary or preparation the practice. The purpose of that 7-limb practice is to anything like any meditation. For instance, in order to meditate love and compassion or bodhicitta, anything when we meditate, it's compassion, love, which means we have to generate, right? It's meditation on compassion, which means our heart or our mind try to transform into the love, compassion to all sentient beings. That's what we call meditation on compassion. So meditation compassion doesn't mean compassion as an object and I just focus to the compassion. That doesn't mean that. It means meditate on compassion, which means this mind right now we have, which is very strong, involved with self-centered or selfish or jealousy or anger and hatred. Is that mind is too much influenced by those negative thoughts, emotion. So our minds it's very weak. In the positive sides, our minds are very weak. So meditate compassion, which means we try to transform that unhealthy mind into love and compassion, strong, stable mind. That's what we call meditation compassion, meditation and love. So to transforming that kind of meditation, it's not easy. So compassion, meditation is the essence, like essence of practice is the meditation. We have to transform into love and compassion, any meditation we're doing. But in order to generate love or compassion in your heart, we need we call favorable conditions, sort of causes condition. Therefore, without those conditions, just only seed there, it's not going to grow. Like in order to grow the seed, we need soil, we need the moisture or heat, everything there. Then when you put the seeds, then it's grow, it comes plants. So just only seed which you put there without water or moisture, anything, then it's not going to grow that, right? It just stays dry. So similarly, in order to generate love and compassion, something, any virtuous mind in your heart, just only meditation, it's not that much powerful. So you need conditions. So the conditions are called the virtues and merits are the condition. So in order to create a condition like a virtues and merits, and in order to remove the obstacle. So anything when we grow, there's two things. One thing, we have to create the conditions. One thing, we have to stop those obstacles, right? Even when the farmers, when they put the seeds on the ground, they have to put all those, what do you call these things you're putting in there? Fertilizer, right? Like things, and you have to put some poison things to kill those insects or whatever, right, to remove the obstacles. So they're doing two things. One, they put all the condition there. One, you have to remove all the obstacles. Then anything will grow very good. Similarly, internal, to grow your inner qualities, virtues or merits, anything when we have to grow, we need first to create those conditions which are the virtues and merits, and we have to remove the obstacles. Because of that reason, we're doing the seven-limb prayer or seven-limb practice. Therefore, the purpose of seven-limb practice is to accumulating the virtues and merits to purify obstacles. That's the main purpose of seven-limb practice. So any ritual when we're doing, you see, they're always doing the seven-limb prayer. Seven-limb prayer or seven-limb practice, first prostration, then second offering, then third confession, and the fourth rejoicing, fifth requesting, and then sixth entreating, and the last dedication. Therefore, there's a seven different practice. And like offering and dedication or rejoicing, this practice is accumulating virtues and merits. It's creating more virtues and merits. Like confession or prostration, like these things, prostration have both, but mainly confession, like this kind of practice, is removing obstacles. So those seven-limb prayer, either they're accumulating virtues and merits, or either they're purifying our obstacles. So that's why, as long as when you're removing your obstacles, and if you have all the virtues and merits there, then when you meditate, any like for instance, like compassion or bodhicitta, any meditation when you do, it's much faster result. Results comes much faster. Otherwise, without condition, without virtues and merits, then how much you try, it's very hard to develop real, very hard to achieve real love and compassion. We try meditating every day, but it's very hard to achieve that. To achievement, in order to achieve the compassion, love, and virtues, whatever you're thinking, in order to achieve that, first we need virtues and merits, and we have to purify the obstacles before when we meditate, actual any meditation we're doing. So this is very important to know that. Maybe many of us, we think, oh, anything, we just meditate and just it comes up. Sometimes you can see, you're trying again and again so much, but still your heart's not moving, right? Your brain really wants to do, you're trying very hardly, but your heart never moved anything, still living same. Might be there's lack of virtues, or there's not enough merits and virtues, or maybe they have too much obstacles there. So even you're trying, still not success, still it's not changing your heart. That means maybe there's so many obstacles there, or if there's lack of virtues. So first do those seven-limb practice, to try to purify those obstacles and to try to develop your virtues and merits through the seven-limb practice. So in order to do these things, it is very important to know what these practices are. All the ritual, we have that prayer, even like Medicine Buddha, when we did this afternoon, we do have that seven-limb prayer there. And many people, when we're doing the seven-limb prayer, we just recite that prayer, nice, with a nice tune sometime, beautiful tune, and we're just reciting that prayer, and we think we done seven-limb prayer, or we done with seven-limb practice. Therefore, that just prayer is not enough. Prayers are important. But the prayer here, the seven-limb practice prayer, is like a walk stick, right? If the person is not strong enough, if they're very weak, in order to cross this road, he fully depend on walk stick. That walk stick will leads you there where you want it. You depend on walk stick, and that walk stick slowly you take there. Similarly, if the practitioner, if your mind is not stable, not strong enough, then we rely on some kind of word. That's why we rely on the prayer. The prayer, when we recite that prayer, same time our mind have to go with the prayer. Therefore, without prayer, some people might be hard to go, to think about your mind on there. At that point, you're reciting that prayer and your mind, concentrating behind the meaning of that prayer. It's called mental reflection meditation. You're reflecting to the meaning of those prayer. So your minds follow the prayer. That will help you, to develop your inner, whatever your practice. Those 7 limb prayer helps to your minds go on the meaning of those prayer. That's why, the prayer, when we recite, one of the purpose to reciting the prayer is like, for instance, like a compassion prayer. Sometimes it's very hard to feel compassion to others. So we're reciting the prayer. It's talking about the all sentient beings, their sufferings, and as long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain in our way, we recite the guide of Bodhisattva way of life. You thinking about that meaning of that word, and that words, keep your minds go with the meaning of that words. So words helps you to focus your mind on that meaning. So that's why when you recite that prayer, you all same time you're thinking, your mind's focusing or thinking about those meaning, and then you feel comes something inside you. That's the purpose of that prayer, to feel something. So many of us, maybe our prayer is just prayer, and our mind is not following the prayer. So just make how beautiful voice and how beautiful tune and melody and with the music. Sometimes it's like a sing a song or read prayer. Sometimes we don't know. It's going like completely same as just singing a song, right? Or prayer. Maybe sometimes maybe attached to that beautiful tune. We don't know. So if you don't understanding the purpose of those prayer, everything, then sometimes it's not that much benefiting you. So any prayer when we're doing, it's about purpose of the practice is the mental, right? It's mind training, transforming the mind into the positive, into virtuous mind. So to transforming mind from this to there, it's not easy. These negative minds, because we have too much habit from our past life, from even this life, from childhood to till today. Our mind is so much polluted with these negative minds. So we are very familiar on the negative mind. To transform into the positive mind is very different things. It's very new things. So it's very hard to go on that way. So we try to use so many different ways. Just prayer, maybe which word can help to make sense their mind, to feel something. So recite a prayer or using external things or action, physical action and speech, so many things to try to use very skillful way to train your mind, to mind can accept that, what we're saying. Then when your mind, anything when they make sense, then when your mind accept it, then your mind slowly turning, it's deciding to go in positive side, to go different road, different paths. That's why the prayers and all other things we're doing here. So now first, among the 7 limb, that's why first very important to know each practice, the prostration, offering, and each one of them. What's the purpose of prostration? What's mean by prostration? Why we prostrating? All these things, if you really exactly know, then when you're doing the prostration, it's not only physical, only physical. You're also thinking about your mentally, the prostration, how you're doing. So each of those practices are very important to know the practitioner, him or herself, completely knowing why I'm doing this, what's the purpose of that. So if you know that, then when you put it into the practice, very different. Doing physical thing completely same, but the mental level we be doing is very different. That's why its results much more beneficial. So that when you do other meditation, if you have very good understanding of those preliminary practice, if you're doing very good, like excellent 7 limb practice, then actual practice when you're doing any meditation, it comes much more success. It's results achieved much faster and much quicker and more better way. So even first preliminary practice is also half here, half down here, there, maybe maybe not understanding proper, so that's why your practice preliminary also just not perfect, then actual practice, of course, is never ever going to be very perfect or very success. Then everything's going to be hard and difficult. That's why I decided maybe in this topic, maybe go now 7 limb prayer. Today, prostration, and next, each of them one by one. Try to explain as much as I can, how much I understanding. Now here the prostration, when we talk about the prostration, majority, we always think prostration, which means something external, bow down or something, right? And they do have external, prostration. We're doing every daily. External bowing is also different. Each country maybe have slightly different way of doing. Some just doing a little bit like that. Some, they have many. 2 knees, they touch to the ground and just bowing. Or they have so many things that's external. And Tibetan, we have one, I don't know, one short one is one big, I don't know how to say these 2 things. We have, one is, how to say? One, you're doing full prostration and half. Partial, okay, yes. Partial prostration, we just, touch 2 knee ground, 2 hand ground, and head touch. Therefore, 5 object, touching to the ground is the partial prostration. And the full prostration, which means you, whole body touch the ground, that we're doing the full prostration. I'm not sure, when it comes to Tibet. In India, do they really doing like full prostration or no? I'm not sure. I hear one time somebody say maybe that full prostration maybe I think Naropa, one of the Indian great master, I think he from his style or something. I'm not sure but that full prostration. But these are the physical, even when we, mudra, that mudra where we're doing this mudra and just bowing, this is also prostration. So there's so many. Mainly point is you sort of respect attitude. Any respect attitude when you show through your physical, that's called prostration. Physical prostration is respect attitude. And then speech, prostration through the speech is you praise. You praise to the Buddha, you praising, the qualities and the kindness and all those praising, are things of speech, prostration. And the very important prostration is mental. Always, any practice, we have to link with our mind, mental prostration. Therefore, mental prostration is like pay respect to wherever you're prostrating. Like for the Buddhists, when you're prostrating to the Buddha, and you're doing physically bow down, verbal, speech, you're reciting the prayer or any praise to the Buddha. And a very important thing is the mental prostration, which is full of respect. Pay faith with a respect to the Buddha, then when you prostrate, that becomes real prostration. Therefore, without internal faith or respect attitude, lack of respect attitude and only physical or recite prayer is not that much beneficial. It's a little bit you have virtue, but not that much. Therefore, any physical when we're doing, it's something linked with our mental. It always, any ritual that we're doing, it have to come with your heart. So, prostrating to the Buddha or any deities when you're doing, it's very important from deep of your heart, very respect attitude, faith and respect. Out of that, when you're prostrating, any physical, any bowing, everything's become prostration. So prostration, which means not only physical bowing, the main thing is respect to, holy image, whatever way, holy object, wherever you're prostrating. Mainly I prostrating to him or her, that means I pay respect to him or her. Therefore, when you're doing that, that's called the prostration. But the why the prostration we're doing, and why the prostration is first among the 7 limb prayer, right? First we're doing the prostration. Why we're doing that is the main, I think one of the reason is, one of the biggest obstacle we have today, the human being we have, is our arrogance. The arrogant, it's one of the biggest negative pride or arrogance, thinking I'm supreme, I know everything, I'm something special. That kind of like a very pop up, your mind is very popping up. It's like feel like I'm special or something. I know everything or I'm special. So because of that arrogant or negative pride, as long as the person who lives with that negative pride, they're never ever going to listen to other people, because you think I'm special, I'm supreme. Explicitly, when you feel that, implicitly, you're looking others down, like ignore, not that much important, nothing that much. Therefore, that's the mind who works. As long as when you think I'm special, I'm something, then you immediately, implicitly your mind is looking others, not that much important. There's nothing special. It's looking much down there. Therefore, when your mind is looking on that way, there's no way to real listening to other people. There's no way to make real good connection, heart by heart. There's no that connection there because you are not going to listen. You have no respect. So the person who is not listening to other people, the problem is because of not listening, not respecting to other people, that you're thinking I know everything, then these people very hard to change their mistaken attitudes. In order to change mistake attitude, mistake thinking, mistake action, in order to change these things, first individual, him or herself, have to know, oh, this is mistake. Then I have to. Without knowing, there's no way to change, right? Anything, if you feel I want to change, that means you have to know, oh, this is mistake, this is not good, so I have to change. That gives you some kind of encourage to change, to understanding the mistake as a mistake. Therefore, the person, if they're not listening in other people, there's no way to him or herself to understand that this is a mistake. So everything what they're doing, they think this is right. So you're making mistake again and again and again. That's why those people have more trouble, more problems, more even small thing. Lack of communication, they can't communicate because they think I know this or that. No communication, there's no way to fix the problems. No communication, there's no way to understanding where is the problems. Just become maybe boss in your office. If the boss himself, if think I'm the boss or I'm something, not listening other people, how to fix the problem in their office, because he don't know what kind of problem, because nobody going to tell, because he's not listening, right? So that's consequences. And result, suffering, results, problems. So therefore, first, in like being a practitioner, the practitioner, which means why I practice is because I want to be happy and peace. I want to achieve, enlightenment or ultimate peace. And because I want that, but unfortunately today I have too much trouble. I have too much suffering. So to achieve that means I have to purify my suffering. I have to change those suffering. We know those sufferings come from my mental afflictions, my mistaken thoughts, mistaken behavior, mistaken actions. So in order to change these things, first I have to open my door, right? If you close your door, there's no way to change. Everything closing. So to open, who closed the door? Arrogance, negative prides. These are the minds first, completely closing. I'm something, always. Then these people, there's no way to change. So first obstacle is the arrogant, selfish, or what you call arrogance or negative pride. You know, that attitude is one of the biggest obstacle in order to get rid of your mistaken thoughts, in order to develop your education, your virtues, your all good qualities, everything. In order to do that, first obstacle is arrogance. It is saying like the person, if they have too much negative pride, if they think themselves as a supreme, these people, always say lack of education, less education. They use ancient, one of the Tibetan great master, he used the, what that means now, it's hard to see. When the rice, when they grow the rice, that green one, that plant, what do you call that? Shoots? Yeah, sprout or shoot. Yeah, inside there's a grass, rice, but the outside is still this cover, right? Covered by husk. Yeah, but this inside, if there's a thick rice inside there, and these plants always, they're looking down like that, right? That means they're full of rice inside there. That's why the plant, when they grow, they're always down. That means, oh, there's a good rice inside. If the inside is empty, that plant sits like that, right? That means they don't have inside there. It's empty. They use that example. The person who don't have real education, he don't understanding real, then they think, I'm knowing everything. That looks like he's like supreme, sitting like very tall. Right? The people who has real education, who real understanding, very, down, very touched to the ground, you can see. Also they say, use the example, if when the raining season, when the rains comes, the rains never sit on top of the hill, right? The top of the mountain is not going there. All the rains, all the water go down and it's sitting down in the valleys. All the rains will be stay there. So the person who has too much pride, too much ego, then those are the people, they don't receiving real education. They're not going to receive real virtues, real inner qualities. Even they go to the listen, whatever. The person who are very down, and those are the people receiving all those points because they are very down. They are really listening. So that's why the ego or the arrogance are the first, big obstacle in order to do spiritual practice or even in just mundane things, same. The person who was very ego, always trouble, right? Very ego person, lack communicate with other people, lack, they have less of relationship also problems, and very hard to fix this. The person who are very down, it's much easier, more friends, much better relationships, much more happy. You can see very different. So that's in order to get rid of that arrogance, that ego mind, then prostration. Therefore, the prostration, the purpose of prostration is to remove the ego. That's the first fundamental. Therefore, when we're doing the prostration, the point is to remove my ego, to reduce my ego, to reduce my arrogance, to reduce my negative pride. That's why the prostration is, that's why we're doing that prostration. Therefore, respect attitude. As long as when you feel real respect to that person, your mind's completely change. Instead of ego, me, when you real respect to them, your mind's become much down, much like listening to others, more down, touching more to the ground side. So you listening, so you real thinking, so you're real able to implement, applying. That's why you can get rid of your other emotion, other mistaken thoughts. So that's why, prostration. So without reducing your ego, if you're not touching that practice to your ego, then prostration is not that much beneficial. So always, like for me, when before giving talk, you see, you're doing the prostration here. It's same. When you give talk, teaching like that, it's very dangerous sometimes. It's easily become, ego, or I'm something special, or I'm something, not same like these people, or you have some kind of inner, very arrogance. Sometimes it can create ego. When you success in your work, when you success anything, sometimes it's danger to become more ego person. So that's why before giving teaching, when you're doing prostration, is one of the purposes that you're touching your head, which is one of the top of your body, touching all the way ground to that head. It's I'm under your feet. That's why when we prostrating toward Buddha or our own gurus and teacher, when we do it, you're visualizing I'm under your feet. That's that kind of very humble. That purpose is what the purpose is. Doing this kind of practice, it helps you to reduce your ego, to reduce your arrogance. So because of no ego, no me, it's much better. Then you don't need. Otherwise, too much ego, then you're thinking, oh, I'm teaching, maybe I can make much better name or power or maybe money or something. You're thinking too much mundane. Therefore, as long as when your mind is out of negative thoughts, emotion, and even like you giving the talk, is whatever nice talk you're giving, but when your mind is fully negative, then that speech is never ever become excellent, perfect speech. Always be mistake. So first intention, the mind have to fix. That's why, first doing your prostration. One of the purpose of prostration is to reduce your own ego. One of the purpose of your prostration is to receiving blessing from the Buddhas and your own teachers. So out of these intention, then, when you teach, less ego, less self-centered, less arrogance. When you teach, then less attached to your reputation or power. So there's a much better way of your thinking. Might be just doesn't matter whatever self, as long as to benefit to others. Then when your intention is pure, then you don't need to worry too much during the teaching or anything when you're doing. As long as when your mind is something mixed with negative, anything, even you doing very success, whatever, always in your behind there, you have something worry, you have something fear, or because it might be losing my reputation, or it might be effect of my power or my anything, my position, or so much fear and things, and always you have to do as like a drama, right? It's not come from deep of your heart, pure. It's something, two things you have to do always. So this problem is actually our mind is polluted by attachment or egos. So that's as long as when your mind is not pure, clean, anything, even your very success, but behind your heart always is something thinking or fear or worry or something stress or something still there. So that's why first doing the prostration is the point is to reduce the ego. Now, just physical prostration, how can it reduce ego, right? It's very hard, just bow down. Maybe sometimes we're doing prostration 1,000 by 1,000, every day, and maybe sometimes people might think this is for exercise. Then even real prostration, or this is real just doing as a yoga or exercise. Therefore, you can see its prostration should come from heart, mind. Lack of inner there. If they don't have internal prostration, then external we doing is just exercise. Doesn't mean it's rubbish. It's help for your physical health, but it's not that much beneficial for your mental level. From the spiritual point of view, not that much. So first is real understanding. Any physical prostration we're doing, it's from the mental. First come from mental prostration. out of pay respect attitude to the Buddha or any holy objects, then through that, when you're doing physical, real out of respect, you can see sometimes when you have very real understanding the person, and if you have real from respect attitude come from deep of your heart, these people when they come in front of you, you automatically, your physical body is something a little bit changed, like some kind of bowing, some kind of respect attitude, you're showing that. That's real prostration. That is not you wants to do this way. Because of your mind is very much respect. Out of strong respect, it's physical, automatically. It's some kind of like a bowing or paying respect to to him or her, and that's real physical prostration. Then speech, when you talk to him, praising or anything, when you ask him, whatever, it's out of strong respect attitude. And when you are saying anything, that words, it's prostration by speech prostration. So that's the real. But without internal these things, then external things, not only, sometimes it's maybe, I mentioned earlier, maybe we think, oh, physical healthy to prostration, or maybe just say something beautiful in front of my teacher, saying this without anything. This all like a politic, nothing benefit. In spiritual point of view, these are just lying, external one, internal one, not suit each other. So that's not going to work. So that's why, in order to become pure, external, like a ritual, anything we're doing, there is something linked with internal. So many of us, we have a lack of understanding the value, the purpose of this practice. So always we doing these things just for external, like as a ritual, doing like an offering, bow down. You don't know. Maybe sometime sit in front of the Buddha, offering and bowing, and deep of your heart, oh, to success my business, to find beautiful girlfriend or boyfriend. That's real. It's what that, I don't think it's real prostration, right? That lack of understanding. So that's, therefore, anything we're doing, if you're real understanding proper, then when you're doing practice, become much more, clean. So now that respect attitude, how can we really generate respect attitude? That now prostration, which means respect, pay respect to them. You call homage or bowing in physically, but the pay respect, how can I develop that respect attitude? As remember others' qualities, their good qualities. So faith to the Buddha, or to respect to the Buddha, or to trust, believe to the Buddha is not just, oh, he's great, or my parents told us, or it's in the book, they say he's something great. So that's not sufficient. You really don't know who he is. In order to know who he is, you have to know exactly what he gives the message. If you learn all those messages, or if you're really understanding his inner qualities, then you know that person, who he is, right? So in order to know his inner quality, how we have to know his inner quality, he taught us. There's so many texts teach by Buddha saying this, all this. Then you know when you read and when you study, then you understanding how this person, who he is, where he's focused, what's his main job, what he's real doing, what's his main purpose of doing. All these things you can understanding when you understanding the Dharma. Therefore, to understanding the Buddha, we should understand Dharma as his teaching. So when you really understanding his teachings, Dharma, then you know this guy. So when you see those Dharma, then through understanding the Dharma, then you real, wow, this kind of person is marvelous way of thinking, giving those teaching, even like a small thing, the value of compassion, the value of love, how to develop this mind, what are the causes of this compassion, what are the obstacles of compassion, how to get rid of those obstacles for the initial level, for the advanced level. All those different levels, he gives so many different ways to how to develop even simple compassion and love. So each different individual, he gives different example, different logic, different reason, very variety way of teaching. You can see this guy, that person is, how he's intelligent, how skillful, what kind of knowledge he has in order to give this kind of message. Therefore, when you're understanding the dharma, then you know that dharma belongs to whom? The person who gives this dharma is the Buddha. Then you pay respect. It's automatically, you can develop respect to the Buddha through understanding the dharma. So, from general, to pay respect to other people, which means understanding the others' qualities, good qualities. So even like a small one, simple, like a butterfly. The butterfly flying here, there, we always ignore. It's just insect. We are human beings, we're thinking. But if you really look at butterfly, how he clever, smart, intelligent, going, to those flower, sitting on the flower, taking all those nectar without destroying all the colors and flowers, everything, just picking up that nectars, right? Then flying and taking care of their children and, and so many other things maybe we don't know right now. Maybe this, maybe you guys know much better than me actually, this butterfly, how it's important. I went one time to see this documentary about the butterfly, how important and neat in this planet. But when you look all those important qualities, then even this small insect who don't know how to talk, who don't know, I don't know, maybe they talk themselves, I'm not sure. But when we look these things, it's nothing, anything. But how much they're doing mystical things, which is our ordinary human being. We can't do these things. And these beings never harm to others. It's never making trouble to others. We human beings, like myself, how much creating trouble, how much angry, how much fighting to other people, how much you have trouble, like behave, destroying other people, and have compare with their behavior and your own behavior. When you compare, these small insects doing much better. We have to be shy and embarrassed, compare with that. So if you look on those good quality, that will give you pay respect, sort of like real understanding the other's good quality. You can able to develop your pay respect. Therefore, when you have respect attitude to them, then it automatically you have some kind of inner sense of care to them. You listen, and that helps to don't harm, how to help. Therefore, all those love, compassion, other, the positive qualities, first comes from pay respect toward others. So that's why in order to generate a respect attitude toward others, we have to know their good qualities. There are so many good qualities there which is we don't know, we don't see. That doesn't mean they don't have. I don't see doesn't mean they don't have these things. My eye is blind, right? Who don't see, who's not looking on the good side, always looking on the bad side, because my mind is dominant by arrogance, ego, jealousy, negative thoughts, emotions. So I wear jealousy glasses, right? I wear ego glasses. So what I'm judging, always to look something bad things there or not. That's the only I will going to look, because I have that kind of glasses, right? That kind of glasses only see something bad side. That's the only I see. That's why I feel that. That's why always when we hear about these guys or bad person, even hear the name makes you internal angry and hate to that person. No respect. Very far, and there's no way to pay respect. Because of no pay to respect, there's no way to develop love and compassion to them. There's no way. But the result, Who's beneficial that? Is the result? It harms you. As long as when you feel angry, hate to that person, it harms you, right? It's nothing to him. It's problem is problem to you. So that's why the problem, why I'm not seeing that, because my mind has too much polluted. So always be understanding this way. In order to see others better, I have to change my mind. So I will try, even if I find one good quality, I always look that quality again and again to make more bright that one. So if the good qualities, when they become very bright, then bad qualities, even there, it's overwhelmed. It can overwhelm by good qualities when you see. And result, you always have very good relation with them. You always feel very respect to them. That's why you always easily to develop love, to develop compassion, to make good relationship to others. And the result makes you happy. Of course, then they will be happy, of course. And that's the purpose. So all these things are prostration. So prostration in the spiritual level, it's very hard to first in the mundane. So what we're doing is, first, Buddha, being a Buddhist, you already have that some kind of, respect to the Buddha. If you are a Christian, maybe for the Jesus, you already have that attitude, good attitude, or pay respect to the Jesus. Or if you are a Hindu or Muslim, you have all this, their own, have respect. Maybe if you are a scientist, maybe you have respect attitude of those scientists, great people. I don't know what this name. Yeah, those people, maybe you have a different image in the religious way or scientist way. If you are very business, artist, maybe you have somebody there, smart or, artist. So using these beings as your object of prostration, you apply and you pay respect, and same time you always think about the teachings, like from the Buddhist point of view. As a Buddhist, remembering Buddha's and teaching, thinking about his teaching, study about his dharma, and each time when you find something very important message, we always be appreciate, wow, this message given by Buddha. If he's not there, you don't understand. It's because of because of that gift. It's very meaningful, very important. So always you appreciate and learning, and you try to thinking about more good qualities of. That's why it's developing your respect attitude. Pay respect to him again. So now you have very strong respect called prostration, by mental prostration, with a faith and respect to the Buddha. Then that spiritual practice, you always try to use in your mundane life. So never be spiritual life here and mundane life separated. That's not good. You have to use your spiritual life into your mundane life, because the problem is we have the suffering in our mundane. So we have to fix that mundane problem through our spiritual. So if you live spiritual and mundane completely separated, how can you fix there? You have two persons. When you're in your shrine room, when you're in monastery or temple, you are a very good person, very calm, very good person, no troublemaker. Then when you go to the mundane life, business life, you have become troublemaker now, right? Then screaming and fighting and cheating and all this, no respect, and then suffering's always there. How can you fix? Therefore, spiritual, you need to be always be part of your life, which means, how can I bring my spiritual life into my mundane? As long as if you don't fix your mundane life, then always problem. There's no way to live peaceful. So, in order to combination my spiritual life, I'm using this respect attitude, morning wake up, doing prostration, remembering dharma, and respect, developing my respect and faith to Buddha. I'm using that attitude. Same time when I go to the office, now I try to use that. How can I use means I develop my respect to the Buddha through understanding Buddha's good qualities, Buddha's teachings. So I can same apply to this office, in my office, to my boss or whoever there. To respect to them, I have to look their good work, their good qualities, their kindness. So think again and again and how much they kind to me. Even like a big boss, many people might have problem with their boss. Yeah, I often hear about, oh, my boss is one of the wrathful, selfish boss. Many people has that complaint. But you have to work under this person, right? You have to work because you have to survive. You have to take care of your children. You have to drive. You have to eat. So you need money. So to need money, you have to work. Therefore, there's no choice. You have to do that way. Now, living with that, how can I get rid of that problem? Means I try to see him as a devil, evil, or as a devil, I can see him as one of the best person. That's my vision. That I can able to change. So if I able to see him as one of the great kindness person, then always whenever I think about my boss, I feel joy. I feel very close to him. Therefore, when I see him as one of the devil person, devil, then whenever I see him, whenever I hear him, it makes me fear. It makes me worry, stress, and it's destroying my relationship with him. Then that's so much inner pain I have. So that pain, in order to get rid of that pain, what I need is I have to look into something different things. That's the only I can able to do that. So in order to do this thing, I learned this already from my own spiritual life, from Buddha. I learned that to seeing, remembering his kindness and his teaching. Through that, I try to develop my respect and faith to Buddha. Now I already have some kind of influence from my spiritual life. Now I use that influence to my mundane life. Then go to see this big boss here. One of the best thing is he is a very kind person because I have a job. He gives me the job I have. Because if I don't have job, then problems, right? How to take care of my children, my family, myself. Like just taking care of myself and other people, it's because of this, my boss. Even just think again, that small kindness, just think more on that, only think more. First, it's difficult. Always pops up. Oh, he is shouting me, he's doing, it always comes. But don't follow that. Your minds, you have to treat, you have to change. It's called like a meditation. Still these things comes, you ignore it, or you just don't follow that mind. Rather, you always try to think about his kindness. Then every time, whatever things you see, something good things, just pick that. Take that, even sometimes it's forget. Good to note, write on your paper, note that, good qualities. Then think again, eventually slowly, when you see something, this guy, something good quality, one thing, two things, then your mind is going different way. It's looking something better, like a positive sides. Then you see more and more and more. Even he's saying same thing, like he's shouting or something, but for you, this is very good. He's really care about his work. Because if this business going down, bankruptcy, everybody going to be trouble, right? All will going to be lose their job, suffering. So he's very much care about this. That's why he's shouting. That means his care. So you pick up into different way, always. Then even horrible things you're doing, this guy, but for you, it's something, there's some reason background, something positive reason. You always speaking positive. Because of that reason, when he asks to do anything, you never feel tired. Because you really care about this guy. You're happy to serve. Helping, when you're doing your helping, you're enjoying. You never feel tired. Otherwise, if you're angry and hate, even 5-minute job feel like 1 hour. My boss is here in front of me. We are together. We have to work together. 5 minutes, for me, it looks like 1 hour. Very long, very difficult. That's your own mind. The problem is there. So, I learned prostration to the Buddha. That practice I apply to my mundane life, my business life, to try to appreciate his kindness, his good qualities. Think again and again. Then slowly, you feel some kind of, respect attitude to him or her. Then you not just live there. Again, think more and more and more. Eventually, your heart is completely changed. For him or her, you're always seeing something much, positive way. Then always you have a very good relationship. Always when you go to the job, work, you feel very joy. Going work with a joyfulness. You never feel stress, never feel fear. Therefore, your mind is very open-minded. So when your mind is very open-minded, then anything when there is a problem, you have no feel like shy or fear. That's why you can able to talk to him out of very positive mind. Then you have not fear, so that other person can see. They find, oh, there's a problem. There's no lack of communication. So better communication, better understanding each other, better way to fix the problems, right? So that prostration practice you learn from your spiritual, you apply in your mundane life. That's why it can help from spiritual life to mundane life. Then slowly changing, then apply to respect attitude toward families, neighbors, and all over, all other sentient beings. That very humble attitude. They were very, grounded, down, touched to the ground, mental, you're very touched to the ground. So always when you have that, you never feel arrogance. Anybody when they see this guy, they can feel this guy has a very good attitude. Everybody wants to make friendship. Everybody wants to talk with you. You have genuine friendship. You don't need to. Many people, we completely ignore our mind, but we do need people respect to you. So we try to say nice things. We try to show beautiful things. Everything we're doing as a drama, because it's not come from internal, because internal we don't know. So we try to say nice things, then other people also doing same thing to you. In front of you, saying nice thing, back, oh, this guy is horrible. This. The deep of heart, never respect, never trust, never believe. Without trust, without respect, never ever become good relationship between each other. It's fundamental. Trust first. Without trust, there's no relationship. Real relationship is built, based on the trust. Therefore, there's no trust, no respect. That's why there's no relation. And everything we're doing as fully they know you're doing as a drama. And you also know they're doing as a drama. Then there's no real feeling inside there. Nothing there. Always just, as just like a show. And that's the life. Then you serving, it's like eventually you become a servant, serving for like this mundane things, like drama, never trust. Eventually you can't trust yourself. You lose your trust, even yourself. Then real difficult. The result, what is the result? One of the main reasons is feel lonely. That's the result. Lonely feeling. It's even external, somebody here, there, doesn't matter. You are not trust yourself, you are not trust other people, no relation. Deep of your heart always be very lonely feeling. Very sad, very lonely, and very short temper. The lonely, very sad person become very short temper, easily angry, easily hate, fear, worry. The deep of your heart is full of rotten, it's finished. Then externally, you have to do again that same thing. Tomorrow go like this, have to do again that same. Then again, eventually you're realizing, all these things doing just for nothing there. So to change that, pure internal, external, completely same, is in order to do that, we don't need to, too much like these politic external things. Rather, if you change your internal, your mind real transforming into the real, positive, which is real, genuine respect to all people who works in your office, everybody. When you're able to develop that pay respect, you become very, humble, becoming a very humble person, very grounded down, touch to the ground person, way of your thinking always different. Anything when you hear for you, this is always something positive message. That's why when you're planning, always be positive planning. When you act, even speech or physical action, always be there's very positive, very like a sympathy, some kind of, very nice. That's why the people see these things. People appreciate. One time, two time, three time, then slowly. First time maybe they ignore, second time again. But then long term, then they realize how much this person is important. Then they will pay respect to you, show respect to you. You don't need to use money, power, no money, but they all listen to you. That's very clear. If you are honest, real respect, real down, grounded, then they will pay respect. They trust. That's why they will going to listen. So that's why, you can solve all your problems. Even when you go to the office, even you're living in the home, you always remain with very happy environment, very peaceful environment. So that's the purpose of, those practice. Your prostration in this side, and the spiritual, you apply in your mundane. So always, I'm doing this practice to fix this problem, to fix my life. Have too much trouble, too much suffering. That's why I engage to the dharma. That's why I engage the spiritual, because I have too much trouble, too much suffering. To change that, that's why we engage to the dharma. That's why we engage to the spiritual life. So dharma or spiritual or the religion, how can they help me? So in order to help you, you have to apply how much you understanding on your spiritual, your religion. You have to apply this practice into your mundane life, in your ordinary lives. So in order to do this apply, you have to know the point, purpose of those practice. So just, my practice, which means recite the prayer, recite the mantra, bow down in front of the Buddha, offering candles or incense, is that only the practice without understanding real dharma? Very hard to apply to your office mundane life, that practice. How can you apply? You're just offering them as the flower or this? Is that going to help? Or incense burning? Or, just say some prayer for them? It's real help. We real think. So that's why, if you understanding of your spiritual just surface as just like a culture, traditionally, practice, then not that much beneficial. Therefore, traditional is important, but always external what we're doing, there's meaning inside there. Some kind of involve your heart, your mind, something there. So if you have external, culture, whatever, internal, your point, the mind training, when they join together, then there's something real, what you call, very delicious taste there. Without that, there's not that much taste. So even though doing the prostration here, out of this understanding, then if you have a real fully faith and respect, and you feel like, wow, these masters, these Buddhas, how much they give this message, how important, how much this benefiting, not only to me, the millions of beings, how much is benefiting, how much is, helping to others. When through understanding, through your own experiencing, then you have strong respect. And out of that respect, when you have automatically, you feel like something bowing, to feel like some kind of prostration. And you always will say, even when you talk about, like from Buddhist point, being a Buddhist, when you talk about Buddha, you always automatically the words comes very positive things, praising or very positive. And that's called prostration, right? Prostration through physical or through speech is depend on first through mind. So first, real understanding, mental prostration. Therefore, in mental prostration is faith and pay respect, to humble attitude to the, a Buddha or those masters. In order to develop that, we have to understanding their qualities, their good qualities, their kindness, all their knowledge, all their positive things. Therefore, through understanding that is not enough. First, to understand. Second, reflect. Think again and again and again. Mental reflection. Again, then slowly your heart accepting. It makes sense. It's become very familiar in your heart. Then always your heart is, knowing these things. Then when your heart fully understanding and experiencing then your heart changing to this person. It's automatically you feel some kind of like a respect. You feel always when these guys come, you feel like I'm much down. I'm much lower than, lower than them or than him or her. So you always feel that. Then you appreciate it again and you have some kind of inner, very appreciate or very feel like very respect, very strong faith and trust to him. Then out of that feeling, then you doing prostration, reciting the prayer. When you're doing these things, that practice helps you to reduce your arrogance, to reduce your ego, to reduce your negative prides, to reduce and decline. Because of reducing, declining those negative egos and all these things, that's why your physical body, your actions change. Maybe before you feel like very different, then your physical actions has some kind of respect attitude of action, physical. Then your speech change. Usually you talk about something very, the person who has too much arrogance when they talk, you can see it's very different things they talk. It's not very, not nice word. You can feel that. Therefore, your speech slowly, it can change. You're always praising to others. You're always praising to, like these kind of things that change your speech. Therefore, when your mind change, then your physical action change, your speech change. That's why then it's growing your virtues, your merits, anything, small thing when you're doing, so you're developing your virtues and merits. Same time, it's removing your obstacles, which egos and all those obstacles, physical obstacles, your obstacle of speech, which are the harsh words and all those, are removing your physical, showing wrathful face, like being arrogant or all those actions change, removing your mental, mainly mental obstacles, which are egos and prides, and these are removing. So then when you meditate on love, compassion, tolerance, or bodhicitta, anything when you meditate, much faster, much easier. It grows much faster. Fruit comes much faster. So that's the purpose of, being prostration. Then you learn this thing through your spiritual in morning and you, wherever you're meditating. Then you always think. One is, to develop your inner quality. The second, this practice is part of my life. I have to use when I go to the office, when I go to the school, when I'm meeting with other people. This is the purpose of the practices, to change my mundane life. You always have to remember, you always have to set up that intention. Because otherwise, if you don't set up that intention, when you finish in your morning practice, when you go to the business life, you fully forget. Sometimes you're a completely different person, completely change. This person to that person. There's no connection. Therefore, connection you have to make. How to make connection? Before meditating, when you're doing the meditation, you always, I'm meditating this to change my mundane life, to change this. One of the purpose of this practice is to change my ordinary life. Therefore, you have to think that's what I'm doing. Then after finish your meditation, your dedication, you can dedicate everything what you're doing normal. And one part of dedication, sometimes it's good to dedicate, like whatever today when you're doing the prostration, I dedicate my prostration, this practice, to my mundane life, in become much more humble, grounded, touch to the ground, to pay respect even toward my enemies or strangers. Everybody I dedicate to my virtue, to ripening in that kind of life. So you dedicate, same time you mentally, only dedication is not enough. And you have to talk to yourself. I have to use that. I have to change myself. Then when you drive, you're always exciting. How can I apply these things to my, now I have to meet with my boss or whoever worker, and now I have to apply that. How can I do, instead of what he will going to tell me today, now what she will going to say this, oh this, that, too much pressure, negative pressure. Before you work, your mind is already tired, fear there, much difficult, much more problems. Therefore, when you have set up that intention, when you drive, so instead of looking that way, you always, how can I apply? How can I use this attitude? I will try today to go there. Can I able to do or not? Which part of action stuck? I can't. How much I can able? You're very exciting. Then when you're in the office, your mind's always this, mindful. Oh, I have to apply that. Then talking, thinking, these things comes up, right? All those mundane things comes up. You always be prepared. Maybe sometimes you lose again, but sometimes you can deal that. You can still keep respect attitude. But when you lose, when you come, oh, today, tomorrow, I have to do again. My morning practice, I have to be much more strong, build more stronger. Tomorrow, I have to be much stronger. You encourage, never give up. So that's why, then day, then a week by week, then monthly, then year, then eventually it comes nature, it comes normal. Anything when you boss says something, when you shout it back, immediately you remember, oh, I shouldn't do these things. To disrespect to other people. It's not benefit to me. It's not benefit to them. It will destroy my relationship to them. It will destroy my values, my dignities, all my positive quality. That just word, just one harsh word, 1 second harsh word can destroy whole my lives. Good qualities can destroy that. People will see that. So that's, nothing. Immediately you remember these things and you can, oh, it's not, I can apologize. Just apologize something. Then tomorrow better. That's why you change, your spiritual life, bring to your mundane life, to change your mundane life as a spiritual. Then eventually 24 hours, hold your life with the spiritual. That's the purpose of practice should be. Part of your life, always be. Therefore, all these things you have to be very skillful to understanding proper, what's the main purpose, and everything, the main point of those practice, then you can, without understanding the point, then sometimes just going to the surface, very difficult to apply. Yeah, that's actually when you're doing the mudra, there is so many, the general, they touch these two hands. Most of the time, the people, when we doing pay respect, we use this here, right? And that's, I think the symbolism, is each hand, so there's so many explanations, it's complicated. Simple thing is, your mudra or prostration, it's heart there, is I respect you by my heart, from my heart. So you're doing that. Then there's 1 or 2, 3, right? Sometimes 4, sometimes 3. But the 3 is symbolism of when they touch your mudra upon your crown here, is symbolism of I prostrating through my body. That's the symbolism of body prostration. When you touch here, the symbolism of speech prostration. Then here, mind. Therefore, I prostrating to the Buddha through my body, speech, and mind. Then you touch. Therefore, I'm respecting to the Buddha through my body, speech, and mind. Therefore, finally, you touch your, head on the ground, and that time you pay respecting from your body, speech, and mind to the Buddha wherever you're prostrating, doing that. the symbolism of, three touch. And if you go to the detail, then there's a four, sometimes crown here, and there, and there, and there. Yeah, each individual has. But the general, I think, is better. Just body, speech, and mind, right? These three. Therefore, speech is actually the word where we use press or something, right? Mantras or all these things. But mainly the mental prostration. But they have an explanation of, here it's internal. When we're doing the prostration, like we make an internal empty, and you put this two thumb inside and there, and symbolism of internal empty is the emptiness, the wisdom aspect of the prostration. External, you make like a jewel shape, is the method aspect of the prostration. So prostration by your mind is with the wisdom and the methods. The wisdom aspect, from the prostration, wisdom is mainly to understanding the other's good qualities. The wisdom who recognize others' kindness, others' good. Therefore, your wisdom always looking this way and to perceiving. There are so many good qualities they have. There are so many good behaviors they have. Therefore, you're perceiving all those good qualities by wisdom. The method aspect is through that understanding, you pay respect, you pay faith. Therefore, method aspect. Therefore, wisdom helps to grow, to change your heart into the method aspect. That's why wisdom and method together, you're prostrating to the Buddha or your gurus, anybody. So you use that same things to your mundane way, right? To understanding others' kindness and their good qualities. And because one of the best things, Buddhist fundamental concept we talked about last, it's emptiness, right? Our fundamental philosophy, logic is we believe everything's empty. Empty doesn't mean nihilism, nothingness, right? Empty, which means absence of inherently existence, right? Empty of independently existence. So there exists dependent. Everything exists where you label it, right? Label or depending on label or thoughts. So now this is my side. I have full power where I label it. Some people, when they, for instance, like a Tashi, the guy who's a troublemaker, one side, and who's taking care of their family, one side there's the good things. He has two qualities. Many people, we label Tashi, which means troublemaker, always. So when we think about Tashi, we say bad, we always feel angry, hate to that person. Now in this side, he has something good qualities, right? So where you label, are you label in the bad qualities or you label on good? This is fully, you have power to where you label. Nobody can take over your power. That's your freedom. If you label on the bad side, result, suffering, result, trouble, nothing benefit. If you label on the good side, result, makes you happy, makes them happy. That's the purpose. So because of that reason, I label Tashi means very kind person. His good quality side, whatever you see, even one good thing's there, pick there, I label him. Tashi means, for instance, if he's very good to drive, then I say, Tashi means good driver, right? That's, label it. This side is making always trouble, screaming. Therefore, you label Tashi means the scream, the guy who's always making scream, and you label there or there, fully you have power, right? Therefore, if I label there, makes me problem, makes him problem. If I label there, makes me happy. So nobody, there's nothing, anything who exists by its own. Who exists independently. Everything exists, depend on where you label it. Depend on. So I label him, Tashi, as a good driver. Then always when people talk about Tashi, for my mind, first imagination of Tashi is good driver. So genuine, my heart becomes something a little bit closer to him. So there's a chance to make goodwill, respect everything. So anything where you see, where you hear, when you think maybe everybody has, if you feel like this guy is bad, 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 don't just blame there, or rather say, oh, labeling, everything's labeled by whom? Labeled by your thoughts, your name. So that thought I have to change, because I label this guy always, it makes me irritated, right? So I have to change it. I not expect it. He changed something better. It's impossible. You can't change other people. That's impossible, right? He stay whatever he think. But I can change my label, mind. Instead of negative mind, give that power, I give power, positive mind to label him. So always I label anybody, first check, you have to be carefully to check if there's something good things. Be honest and unbiased, honest way to check, oh, he has one good things. Maybe he's eating nicely, or he dressing something good, or he maybe, there's something good things. Okay, I got it. We call object of imputation. I got the object of imputation. Now I have to label, impute it. I label Tashi means, oh, this guy, yes, nice dress guy, or good driver, or something good, speaking, whatever. I always label. So that way, if you do again that, you have less enemy, less stranger. Because of your imagination, there's no stranger. You always live it very peaceful, very happy. And that's, that's everything. You have power to do these things. So that's why this 7-limb practice today, the prostration, it's very, very important. Whenever we're doing prostration, you think you can do it in a spiritual, religious point of view. You can try to apply that in your prostration practice into your mundane life, day by day, change it. Then after, even just prostration practice can take month, year by year to success. It's not easy. Today we just say one word and finish prostration. But if you're real practical, it can take long and much more beneficial. So, if you understand it proper. So that's why try it and slow, then first you respect to your families, your friends, your neighbors, and in your office, the people where you're dealing with, then slowly spread to bigger, even the strangers, enemies, all people, then eventually all sentient beings. Then you respect them to the Buddha, same time you respect to all sentient beings. Completely clean, very honest, no bias. You're looking completely same way. And result, you always be very calm and peaceful, less fear, less worry. And that makes much better relationships. Okay, that's today. Thank you.